that first pick from the side of XSET is actually going to be Icebox. And now Icebox is going to be a totally different story. I know that Breeze, we spent a lot of time talking about Breeze, but with Icebox on the table, Ender, first initial thoughts.
I mean, I think Icebox can be a very interesting map. We've sort of been seeing a lot of teams experiment with Theory, whether or not we can actually punish that post-plant utility. 100 Thieves have been going towards the Killjoy on this map, so I think it is very important that XSET have been watching Fnatic VODs. I think they just qualified for Masters, so you got to be ready to face them internationally. We need to see the flanking coming in, multiple members to punish that post-plant setup.
Okay, so I went over like a mock. The mock pick spans for me is absolutely just shredded. Looking at Ascent come in here, we haven't seen a month of competitive play for 100 Thieves on that map. So the fact that I got through, very interesting. Maybe they feel like they got something new. I'm loving this already, but the breeze is there. Yeah. And XSET might need to go hard on these first two maps to avoid that.
Hey, you know, the thing about 100 Thieves that's so interesting is they're always trying to stop themselves from getting anti-stratted, almost to the point where it's hurt them in the past. So they go away from picks that have worked, or they stop playing the default that is so solid because they don't want to get red. That's been something they've dealt with. So I think it's going to be really interesting seeing how they come in, what ends up changing for them, because the 100 Thieves, even if it looked good in previous weeks, it always changes week to week.
Well, with the maps ready, we are ready to almost get this game underway. But before we do so, we are going to take a very short commercial break. When we get back, we'll be diving straight into Agent Select for our first map of this series, so see you there. Welcome back, everyone. We are just about ready to head into our first match of the day for day number 3 here at the VCT Stage 2 playoffs. It's going to be between XSET and 100 Thieves, and we're ready to dive into Agent Select in just a moment here. That first map is going to be on Icebox, and it has to be said that Ender, you are not the biggest fan of the comp on the side of XSET because they are one of the few teams not utilizing Sage.
Yeah, and I think it's a big miss for them. The last time they played this, I think, was week 4 versus the Guard. They were rocking KO, the Raze, Sova, Viper, and the Chamber for Cryo, right? And none of those picks on their own feel that out of place on Icebox. I think most teams have gone away from playing the Raze. I think KO is not a necessity on this map, but Sage absolutely is. Again, Fnatic, the best Icebox team in the world, gonna rock the Sage every single time. The Sage wall, both to disrupt post-plant utility from coming in, to get that vertical wall and you know, fully diffuse the spike in early rounds versus SMGs or pistols. That wall on its own is so powerful. She could have no other abilities in her kit, and I still think she's a must-pick on Icebox.
All the agents they have are great, but it feels like you're missing something, and it is with that Sage, right? Being able to slow. Even this is their innovation, and they usually go away from something that becomes strength for other teams. So they have an idea, they have a reason to use it, but it seems exploitable by other teams when you know that defensive capability of Sage is not on the squad.
Well, Ender, knowing that this was a map pick from the side of XSET, what do you think it is about either their strategy or this comp that they are going to be heavily leaning into in the hopes of course, securing a win against 100 Thieves?
Honestly, I'm hoping that they have made some compositional changes. It's been a couple of weeks since they've played this map, so they could have just come in with some work and trying to run something else. But I think that, again, if you are playing this style where you have a Raze or a KO, that does enable you to play pretty aggressively, pushing either A or B main when you're on defense to try and really shut down or get on the flank quickly before a site hit actually activates for 100 Thieves. So that's what I'd like to see from them, because Icebox isn't a map that I think enables you to play like the normal XSET style of walking through mid, playing contact through mid. That area of the map is usually reserved for your smoke players or your sentinel players to late flank deep into the round.
And to add a point to the KO, 100 Thieves do have the Killjoy on the comp. They usually put the turret mid. A common strategy they run is to have 3 or 2 towards B, and you'll drone B with KO or with Killjoy being A, and activating the turret there. So having the KO to identify numbers, identify space, could work really well against that Killjoy turret split that 100 Thieves runs on attack.
Well, it sounds like we have Agent Select ready, so let's go ahead and get some answers. Are we going to be seeing a compositional change from the side of XSET, or is it going to be more of the same? Ender, initial thoughts.
Let's see what ends up coming in here, because I do think one other person I have to shout out for their play from 100 Thieves was Stellar. When they were playing this map versus FaZe, I believe it was, his late round lurks through mid were super effective. Not just like late round when the spike's already been planted, but he was getting kills that was allowing 100 Thieves just pivot off the sites completely. So again, we see this comp coming through from XSET. I do think this is a big miss from them, and 100 Thieves I have as my favorites in this map 1.
I agree with that. It's going to be tough. XSET's, I feel like it's going to be a struggle for them to make things happen at anything that's not A.
Yeah. I also think just like looking at this comp overall from 100 Thieves, when they're on defense first. They have so much utility to stop a planter from getting the spike down, right? If you're walking into A site, 100 Thieves don't even have to play on the ground on site. They can be back rafters towards heaven.
That retake.
Sova darts, Molotovs, the Raze nades, right? Like they can buy so much time either for their players to rotate through spawns, they can retake as 5 or potentially flank. Having all that damaging utility gives you so many options on a map as binary as Icebox.
Well, we heard your thoughts, but we also have the game ready for all of you viewers watching from home. So let's go ahead and get that game booted and ready for y'all. Your casters for this game are going to be Sideshow and Bren with his lovely mustache that we're about to see in huge fashion above us.
Ooh.
How you guys doing?
Tom Selleck, is that you?
Well, for the fellowship journey he's about to go under as well.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
the two Ents and Pippin on the desk.
that's why the setup is quite funny. But
We're
listen,
barely bigger than they are.
all jokes aside, this match that we've got coming up here, the upper semi-finals between 100 Thieves and XSET, is a vitally important one.
Yep.
Winning this one means you only have one more match ahead of you, and you have made Copenhagen as a team. And both of these teams are going to be trying absolutely everything to get the edge.
XSET with this win can break the 4th place curse as well. They've been so consistent, but they've yet to really finish in a podium position. Being able to get this would guarantee them that. Okay, so they throw the knife over to A, that keeps some of the B... Sorry, the knife over to yellow, keeps some of the B anchors in position. And now they're going for the exec onto A behind the drone.
Yeah, already just pushing up right behind it. Have to, honestly, weather the storm almost as well with all this Viper utility that's cutting them up. They are pushed away for but a moment, but you can see, look at all the utility that's sent through. 100 Thieves. The nade, the shock dart, it's all comboed up, and it denies that plan. Gives them that first advantage, that first kill that they've been looking for.
Exactly what the desk were talking about there. Huge amounts of defensive utility available to 100 Thieves. But it's Zekken that finds a response. But Derek and Will just swarm forwards, and they are going for a fast retake.
Gonna try and hold this down now, but Aaron's left alone, isolated. To 1v2 and not a lot of health to work with. He's going to be short work.
And 100 Thieves have come into this one with a clear game plan. Let's talk a little about the map pool here though, Brent, because between these two teams, of course, they faced each other earlier on in the group stage, and 100 Thieves were able to get the win. They in fact dealt 2 out of 3 of the map losses that XSET took in the entirety of their groups by winning on Bind and winning on Breeze. So this map pool's gone in a bit of a bizarre direction for XSET, trying to avoid comfort territory for 100 Thieves, I think. And it's actually put them in a position where they're playing 3 maps they don't play a lot of. You know, they've played 1 game on Icebox against the Guard. Their permaban is XSET, and their permaban is Ascent, sorry. And they're playing that map too. And then, you know, you've got Breeze as the 3rd. So a big opportunity for XSET to show that they have been in the lab and they've got different things to bring out here to counter-strat 100 Thieves. You, of course, know how the Thieves are going to play on this map. But so far, has certainly been the defenders with the game plan that's been executed to perfection.
And 100 Thieves, they got their pick of what side of Icebox they wanted to play. They ended up choosing the defense side of things, which I think makes sense. You know, they've probably been at least thinking overnight about what they wanted to fix up for them on their defense side of things. When it came to their Icebox gameplay the other day, it was their post plans that was their major strength.
It was.
All on the attack side.
But this is such a different dynamic compared to that game. Of course, phenomenal that 100 Thieves were able to pull off a 9-3 comeback, or I suppose I should say a 3-9 comeback, to get the win over FaZe. But the composition from XSET plays so differently.
Yeah, it does.
Without the Sage online, XSET have to manipulate defender rotations much more heavily than you would expect from normal Icebox comps. This Spike's in a really tough position right now. Will using his nade, backing off from any spot where he might get run over by the 2 players with pistols.
Still 28 seconds left with Sheriff and Headhunter. Okay, a couple of shots rattled off. Not really going to get too much more other than that. 100 Thieves happy, I think, keeping 4 of their players alive, moving into this bonus round now.
Yeah, looking very clean.
Yeah.
And I also think that the general way 100 Thieves play this map is good against XSET. 100 Thieves don't tend to push too often on defense. They don't tend to fight for extremities very hard. They'll prod a little bit and then back off. They're mostly going to play to deny a plant and play a quick retake. That's their idea on their defensive side. And I think that matches up really well against an XSET comp that that works like this. But now that they have their rifles in hand, what have they got for us? A Viper wall down on A extremely early should indicate to 100 Thieves that might be where XSET are leaning.
That's got to indicate it.
We do have more defensive aggression.
Yep, straight through main. I mean, you've got the Spectres who want to be trying to take those short-range engagements. 100 Thieves trying to put those weapons to good usage. With Asuna falling, though, it is just a 1-for-1 with Cryo down on top of it. 4v4 now, straight leading into the side. Zekin taking the ropes over. Now he just wants to hold that top nest position, but once more, the utility is being used to try and counteract it. Aaron, though, runs in, tries to follow up off the back of it after his teammate ends up going down, and it is left in such a precarious position.
You see how aggressive XSET have to get in these rounds. There is so much damage been done to Will and Stella.
He's so low here.
A single bullet could take down both of them if they lined up.
The position's been found, yep. Jay with a nice one to try and even it out. He's been dropped down to just 20 health, though, and the snake bite.
Perfect.
Unbelievable utility usage. 40 seconds still left in the round, though. Def is left in a difficult task ahead of him.
Taps the rope.
Two players here, taps the rope. A quick little swing off to the side. The movement is just impeccable.
And such a good situation there for Stella and Bang to be in. Stella with the weak health, jumping out first, allowing Bang to come in with the trade. Still 150 HP. And that's the bonus round.
Yep, converting that. I mean, this is the side that 100 Thieves were struggling with the other day.
Yeah.
Already coming up with such a solid lead.
They've already matched the rounds that they got against FaZe on this side.
Yeah,
and I don't think they're stopping here.
It's a great start.
I think XSET at some point are going to have to start maneuvering their rotates around in the mid to late round. You can see that the first wave of attack from XSET, even if they get the entirety of the site control on A, and the same will happen on B as well, even if you take big amounts of site control, 100 Thieves are still going to back up and play to deny that plant coming down. So XSET need to play players like Zekin is right now, so that they have late round pivots they can go back over to on the other side.
Just wants to hold that space for them, and this the Viper's Pit is going to be causing so many issues. They dumped a bit of utility in early. XSET obviously on the half buy as well, so the money's not ideal.
The little bit of pressure that they did apply has kept Will and Bang inside this Viper's Pit, and given XSET a bit of a timing to get onto A. The question is, how do you get the plant down?
Well, they're not being sly about it. You can see the footsteps. I mean, the noise cues are going to be there for them. Cryo, he actually gets the trade on that one.
And that gets his ult online, pops out the tour de force. This could be a game changer. Without any players here that can really do damage, Will Bang on the other side of the map, Derek not choosing to use his shock darts. XSET do get a free plant, and this is the first time we see a true post-plant scenario for XSET to try and play.
They've got a double swing position as well. Oh my goodness. Bang, he didn't quite know what to do. He saw the trademark out in the open. He was thinking about how he was going to get around it with Cryo holding down that angle as well. Tour de force, incredibly powerful in situations like this. A quick tap at a spike implores XSET to swing into them, and they will take away the round on their half buy.
Well, what a fantastic round from XSET. I feel like they maneuvered around the Viper's Pit perfectly there. It ended up being a detriment more than a positive to 100 Thieves. Yeah. Because XSET were able to keep Will and Bang on one side of the map.
Dump the utility into it early.
Yeah, and get a free plant down. XSET are a really good attack-sided team. At times, they look like the best attacking team in North America this stage. They've dropped off a little from that, but they're still #2 in post-plant win percentage. So if they're allowed to get the spike down, they are really good at being able to hold on to it. That's why we're putting so much emphasis here in terms of talking about 100 Thieves utility to stop that happening.
Dangerous for Asuna, but he grabs that orb up. Still the buy round for them. Walls drop down on top of it. Satchel as well to try and break portions. That's all the utility being used. Drone sent out. Derek just wants to supplement and give his team a bit of extra information to work with, but like I said, just with the quick pivot, once more now trying to take and play up into B main. It's going to be up to Bang to try and do some damage here and hold off this oncoming swarm. The players, they're trying to take him out of his situation, his position. But this guy with the Phantom in hand, 3 kills. 100 Thieves, nothing to worry about, it seems.
That's a verified Shawnzo round if I've ever seen one. Bang just coming out with a hard carry. Anchor in that position over towards yellow and green and pops 3 heads. XSET are usually very good at being able to trade each other out in those kind of scenarios, and Bang was able to grab kill after kill after kill. He's been popping so far.
Just nasty. This guy's converting people to the Phantom as we speak. He had that clip the other day.
I mean, he has clearly been 100 Thieves' best player recently. Clearly.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And certainly the game against FaZe put that one over the line, in my opinion. He's also 3-0 right now in terms of first kills to first deaths. So he's putting the hurt on XSET. See a little Molly and a Snakebite combination there to stop 100 Thieves from getting that final orb onto Asuna.
Now you see it. No command going to be popped off.
The double blast pack being used again to break this Sage wall.
All the utility just being used to try and scale deep into the site here, but Derek ready once more. Top of Rafters swings through, 3 kills, dropping Def to his knees. Obviously could be resurrected, but he's in such a precarious position. I believe right on top of 410, no one's going to be able to get to him.
And with this lockdown in place, I mean, it's just, the round is essentially done. You've got you've got Bang covering the backside as well. And Zekin gets detained. It can't really get much worse here. There's 50 seconds on the clock, but 100 Thieves know exactly where they are. And even if Bang was pressured, Stella now there to try and support. Doesn't look like this round is particularly going anywhere. They'd need something incredible to come out of Zekin.
Yeah, a ridiculous moment. I mean, PCJ's even just working with a Spectre. The Viper wall goes down, though, on 100 Thieves side of things. Opportunity, maybe. They're going to hear that weapon drop down across the ropes. It's being covered still. PCJ gets the one, knows that there's a player playing around. Generator, the head is found, but Stella with a quick trade.
Excellent reaction there from Stella. Instead of supporting Bang up for the flank, he goes back and helps the rest of his players there to trade out Asuna as they collect. You know, Def is in a different role right now as well. Previously the Smokes player for the team, IGL for them on attack, the round, the side in which they've been doing so well at. He has now died first in 5 out of their 6 rounds. And I suppose he didn't technically die first in that round, but he was knocked first with his KO ult. And it's essentially the same thing without a res being able to be put into the round. So this is a pretty big issue right now. Allowing 100 Thieves to get out to a 5-1 lead. The economy knocked once more. Oh, and Def's gonna go, oopsie daisy. 20 health, just about survives.
That's so much damage being done to them.
But their pieces are very all-in at the moment. They're not really running some kind of default and exploding into the site. They're not trying to rotate too much. I mean, their eco round that they won was about the biggest rotate that they've had, with the B pressure going down into A. Everything else has been read so easily by 100 Thieves. And I feel like B main should be a big point of weakness for 100 Thieves with their composition and the way that they play it. No Jet, no Chamber to be contesting that area of the map, and yet XSET aren't taking it for free. This is a nice lurk.
He's lurked his way in. Headhunter, there you go. Grabs the one, grabs a gun. Still, Derek going to be watching from the top side of things here. Has to know that this angle could be compromised. Still, just honestly, his presence is going to be doing damage at the back of their minds, knowing they have to clear it.
Look how many people it's pulled over to kitchen. Both Derek, you've got Asuna, you've got Will over there. This should allow them to get a spike plant down. Wow. But it's a fairly significant player and economy disadvantage still.
Yeah. The space is retaken. That affords 100 Thieves the res. You know that nothing's going to be able to disrupt that one. A bit of spam up top. Spike will get planted, but now Ultimate's once more committed. Showstopper from Will against the sides, and the damage more than done. Except with 2 players remaining, though. Aaron, can he hold off the swarm of players once more? It's just up to Cryo, and a quick reset of the aim, not enough for Derek on the high ground.
Nice try by Cryo, pulling players away from the A side and seeing if he could get some kind of flank in the post plan. But it's another one of these really fast retakes from 100 Thieves, and it's disastrous for XSET.
Not afraid to invest the ults from 100 Thieves, were they? Into that half buy.
Absolutely not. Going for the res, going for the showstopper as well.
Even the Hunter's Fury earlier.
Sure, yeah. But I think it can be important. The previous round that they lost was one of those thrifties.
Of course.
So you can see that XSET are a dangerous team. You still have to take them very seriously. But this is a fantastic lead for 100 Thieves. They played from behind, and even just saying that statement feels like a massive undersell of what happened in the game against FaZe. Sure, they were playing from behind on every map. They went down 3-9, and they still somehow managed to win the series. So being able to get out to a hot lead here, put some momentum behind, And despite the incredible mental resilience that 100 Thieves had to be able to get through that game against FaZe, you don't want to be putting yourself in that situation every time.
That situation, exactly.
You want to be putting your opponents in that situation, and that's what they're doing currently. XSET take a timeout. As Def, the IGL currently sat 1-7 with a lot of these first deaths that I've been talking about, reassesses what the game plan should be to try and crack this nut open.
How do you deal with 100 Thieves? So willing, honestly, to just anchor down the positions. Play the trades off one another as well. Don't give up too much.
And one of the massive things that FaZe was doing well against them, that Ghosts were doing well against them, is getting those first picks.
Right here.
Yeah.
And that has not been the case here. You're really looking for the entry players from XSET to have more success.
And a knife will spot two of them. And it's an aggressive defensive hold on that B main area from 100 Thieves. You can see both Asuna and Will have been playing all the way up close.
And look at the hard read, actually. Stella has got all of his Killjoy utility in kitchen, anticipating Aaron using his Viper's Pit up there. They made a hard read on this being a mid-to-B kind of kitchen push.
Instead, seconds all the way deep in. The double satchel play, but Stella shuts it down with a showstopper in his hands. Didn't even let it rip. No opportunity to do so. Viper's Pit against Viper's Pit now. One against the other. XSET have worked their way onto the left side of this site, choosing to give it up entirely. But this is on a nice edge. They don't have much ground when it comes to holding this one. It's difficult for either team to really... I think no one understands exactly where these players are currently holding from.
But the XSET players are just getting surrounded on all fronts. So claustrophobic for them in the post plant.
Will with the nade as well is going to be clearing that one side of Maze. Taking out one side of it. The satchel drop down on... Gives a bit of space, affords them something here. BCJ a quick little reset of the aim. Now down to the 2v2, spam straight into that Viper's Pit. Aaron takes the off angle though, unanticipated, unexpected. It's all down to Asuna, but Aaron, he cleans it up. And finally XSET get another round on the board. Cost them almost everything to do so.
It was certainly unexpected. You could tell that 100 Thieves weren't ready for that one. I don't think I've ever seen a round like that on Icebox. Just back-to-back, side-by-side, Viper's Pits being deployed on A. An extremely weird retake scenario, but XSET do manage to come out on top, and I think a lot of the credit there belongs to Aaron. Being able to survive for so long inside the pit and keep that up, keep that area safe, and then still be able to get the kills towards the end of the round, that's a pretty mammoth effort by him to put things onto the board. 100 Thieves continuing to push with Will and Asuna. It feels very different from 100 Thieves on their defense side. They are actually playing it much more aggressively. They've been playing B more aggro. They've been prodding down mid in this round, and it's just another A hit from XSET. Same again.
Yeah, the deep dart to push them down mid, but now they realize obviously that this A hit is coming through. The slow orb will stop XSET in their tracks. Will just holding that nade. He knows. What they have to do is try and deny this plat. They've seen some success from it previously.
Just tapping, trying to bait out this wave of defensive utility, which they do.
That gets the first pick.
First pick out of it, yeah.
Tour de Force being held by Cryo. He gets another one. Still the players just swinging down and around. Not great weaponry for 100 Thieves, but still does get a bit of work done.
At any point in this round, if they had just a single player over towards B, or if they keep track of the players alive and where they're positioned, they can make a mid-round pivot.
Oh boy.
But they've decided not to. XSET just continuing to hammer home. They want to win the mental advantage here on A.
They do eventually trade that one as well, so another round for XSET, starting to bounce back a little bit off the rough beginning for them.
The weird thing about that too is that 100 Thieves were forced onto a half-buy despite the fact that they're so far in the lead. And that I think indicates how much XSET is still pushing them despite losing these rounds.
I mean, his rounds back and forth, it's been like 1 or 2 players alive.
Yeah, it has.
Almost every time.
And so 100 Thieves had, you know, a couple of rifles in that situation, Spectre, someone with a Sheriff and a Ghost. But it wasn't a full force defense. Stella with a lockdown in this round. I think with the aggression that XSET are going to be putting onto all of their post plants, he will find it difficult to get value out of this. Especially if BCJ or Def get theirs online, and only a single orb could have Null Command or the Hunter's Fury in the hands of XSET. Very, very similar protocols from 100 Thieves here. Any kind of noise over towards the A site is triggering this wall. And for the final 3 rounds, XSET perhaps looking to work on the fact that they've conditioned fast A approaches and throw out something different. The issue to me, though, Bren, is that they really don't have anybody towards B or towards mid. They're banking on the fact that 100 Thieves are not going to go and grab info there.
Which they have been doing. They've been playing aggressively.
They have.
But not this time. Players holding quite passive positions, and now you can start to see, once again, a load of utility that's being used here. The knife, the nade, even a recon dart up towards screens, pushing back the players. The left side approach of the site being taken. Shock darts, though, to pressure them back. 100 Thieves not willing to give this one up easily, and BCJ is struggling. A quick tap of the spike now up top, but there's nothing to really prevent this. He could get spammed up top. It's just the nade, and there you go. The nade and a bit of spam just through that very thin wall. No Sage wall to block that.
Had BCJ been alive, he would have had his Hunter's Fury to take out this lockdown. Instead, Stella gets it for free. Def with no opportunity to throw a nade line up to deny either. XSET are going to have to play this post plant from a long way away, and that's why Cryo is also reflanking through mid. The rest of XSET just need to buy time.
Yeah, could be incredibly rough. 100 Thieves grouping up now around that 410, just trying to take the positioning. The trades, the swings, is it going to be there? Still a shot's being found, Def, but it's half on the defuse. The player's being taken out. It's all up to Derek. It's a 1v1. The player's falling. He's just going to be sticking it. Oh my goodness.
Down to a fraction of a second.
Oh my god.
And even in that post plant, there was an alarm bot watching for Cryo in mid, and he still finds the kill on Stella, pushing through the alarm bot and grabbing another crucial kill that confuses 100 Thieves on the retake. XSET are making adaptations here. One of the things that I thought was the nicest about that round is that they force out this Sage wall incredibly early on. You heard the desk talking about it. It's such an important piece of both the defender and usually the attacker's equipment as well. What a great timing on this too. The fact that Def just found a tiny sliver of a peek onto Derek gives him the timing he needs.
And the cams, it really is looking like the team's father. Breno, what is that, like a Patagonia fleece?
I mean, he is one of the older players that we have competing. Not the oldest, though, as far as I'm aware.
No, veteran presence for the team, though.
Absolutely. And he's managed to recover his, own individual performance, too. Now that XSET are going for a bit more of a nuanced approach instead of running it into A, they've got a couple of things going on. But Icebox, often we see stuff like this where I wouldn't be surprised if XSET continue going A for the last 2 rounds of the half.
Yeah,
because
just completely giving up on B.
You've built up an understanding of what your defending protocols are. They know that Asuna's going to use that wall instantly upon XSET making any kind of noise. So they're trying to force that out fairly early. And I think it's going to be valuable for them. You saw that they forced out the wall, waited, and as the Sage wall was about to break naturally, they go in for their re-hit.
They're leaning towards B this time.
I think it's going to end up being a fake, though. Look where the spike is over towards A. I think they're going to end up throwing in a B round here to try and throw 100 Thieves off a little bit. Pull rotates away, because they have to gamble. It's an eco round here for 100 Thieves. And then they'll return back over to BCJ with the spike.
They know the bang is up close. The snake bite forces his positioning away. Just biding their time now, grabbing the orb, making sure that they can hopefully drag a couple of these 100 Thieves players still on towards the B site.
And honestly, even denying that orb might be important. Derek and Will 1 away from getting their ults online. And trying to get their spike plant down, even against an eco round, when you're competing against a showstopper and a 100's Fury, would be a headache, to say the least. So now we see the spike going back over to A, along with the rest of XSET, droning in. And you've still got Aaron on B. If there is an eco stack over on A right now, they still have enough time with 35 seconds on the clock to rotate.
Yep. Taking that forward position right up onto the high ground. Quick tap of it as well, just trying to bait out the swings and utility. 100 Thieves, of course, they oblige.
Nice idea with the nanoswarm from Stella, seeing if he could deny the A plant. Unfortunately broken quite quickly there. And Stella, the last one left alive. Phantom in hand, might as well go for this. But Cryo's going to deny it. And XSET have made a major recovery in this half. And I feel like it's about just getting the read on what 100 Thieves are doing on defense.
Yeah, really doing a great job of battling back in this one half as well, because it was looking pretty dire, I'm not going to lie. If we were looking at that lead continuing for 100 Thieves as we headed into the second half of things. But now the final round here, round 12. Guns online for both the teams. Ultimates on top of it for 100 Thieves. They now have more tools to work with when it comes to denying any sort of fast approach from XSET.
And does just look like it's going to be an A piece once more. XSET have not planted on B a single time. They've only pressured it really in one of the rounds. Will is incredibly pushed up.
So deep.
And they've only run this a single time on their bonus.
BCJ is going to let rip that Hunter's Fury, and he has spotted his mark. The counterplay is there. Quick little sidestep, and Derek, I think just too far away to get that tag onto BCJ.
Really looked like it was going to be good. But unfortunately...
It's deceptive, I think.
Yeah, not quite.
Very long.
They have the information on where Will is playing now. He's over by A. Trying to get a plant there against his showstopper would be a fool's errand. So this might be the first time that XSET have serious pressure behind this Viper wall.
And they are just contacting into B. Bang. Has to be aware that something is coming his way with the knife and the dart. It's all coordinated. The players from 100 Thieves, they're running. The wee little legs just trying to get there in time so they can deny this. The utility does a great job of just pushing them away, but with the Viper's pit down,
what a kill! What a kill!
Gets it onto Will.
That was Will with the showstopper coming in to see if he could deny the plant or have his ult there for the retake. What a pick for Cryo to get. He just sees Derek's cape fly past him. But they have a player advantage and a Viper's pit down.
Angle being held, a bit of contacting. Who is that walking in? Bang! He's trying to make a miracle happen, but he walks right into Aaron's crossfire. And the random spam in play, he does collect the kills at the end of the day. It's 6-6 at the first half. Great effort from XSET to be able to bring that one back when 100 Thieves looked large and in charge. And now, going to go to a short break. On the other side of things, we'll see just how this series and this map might be ending up. Back into the action for Icebox, the second half of things here. And 100 Thieves on the side of the map now where they can try and play for those post plants, but take a gander at what XSET are running. Every single agent they are running is made and designed to be denying them from getting into that position.
Nade. Another nade. 2 shock darts.
Snake bites.
Snake bites, although they're not active in this round. And then Cryo playing aggressively with his rendezvous. Yeah, you're right, Brent. XSET have weathered the storm on their weaker side, you would say, just judging by how the comp works. And they're now in their comfort territory.
It's up to 100 Thieves to try and battle against this now. If they can get into those post-plant scenarios, it is where they are favored, where they're comfortable, but there's a lot that's going to be chucked at them to deny it.
XSET have made some noise over by pipes. You can see the ping on the map from 100 Thieves. They believe that there's a player tucked around there, so they drone forwards. Flash up top. Can Cryo find anything?
Players from 100 Thieves, they are just trying to avail themselves, pushing all the way over. That's Asuna. A great opening for them, but the nade being held by Zekken. Waiting for that tap, waiting for the right sound cue, and 100 Thieves are just trying to bamboozle them.
It's decent, actually. They forced out the fragment grenade. They forced out a shock dart as well. It's, of course, the pistol round.
Plays on contact plays.
Wow, and XSET are going to try and
re-clearing this. They might just walk straight into the sightlines of this. Do they anticipate it? The fight, it's underway. Asuna still holds his ground. A quick little swing with the right click. That's def removed. Low HP from a lot of the players. It is the 3v2 at the end of the day. The dart in play just up to Zekken. 100 Thieves, they waited out. XSET play right into their hands.
Yeah, what a smart cut of noise. It's such a great thing to throw into some of your rounds. We saw that XSET pulled it out about halfway through their attack side. 100 Thieves right from the beginning. Go in, make it look like a fast, pacey hit. Follow the drone. Force out a lot of that defender utility and then cut all of the noise. Threaten that you could just be leaving completely. And force the defense to go for some kind of informational play. That's a great pistol round for 100 Thieves to get on their side early on. And already shows that they're aware of the win conditions from XSET's composition.
Yeah.
Now this looks disgustingly dangerous from Def and BCJ as they hold with shorties towards Garage and Tube. But nobody from 100 Thieves wants any piece of it.
Yeah, just in case. I mean, there's a bit of a risk, isn't it, being played? Don't know how those fish are surviving in that weapon. Must be awful every time you're home, just rattling around.
Yeah, what a terrible existence for those fish.
Nate, though, comes off. Asuna just about getting that plant off. Escapes with just a scratch.
And this is a really aggressive wall as well. Fantastic against eco rounds. It's going to stop these players getting in. They have to break at least 2, probably 3 segments of the wall to have any attempt at a retake. And frankly, BCJ and Def have got terrible weapons for the retake anyway.
Shorty for the retake.
Good luck with this.
It's not looking good if you're XSET. Asuna as well, he's just taking these aggressive positions with the Spectres. That is the prime angle for it. And Prime Gaming flawless.
Yeah, not a single death. So they're going to be able to cook up something interesting for this bonus round. Spectres on every player. And I'd love to see 100 Thieves throw in a crafted strategy here for round 15. And this one was far too easy. I don't think you'll see Asuna walling like this regularly. I think that was specifically against the eco round.
Yeah.
But that is an interesting thing to keep track of, because his wall is going to be an audio trigger for XSET to be throwing a lot of their utility out. And just trying to break it in general. So trying to get big value out of that is going to be a theme for 100 Thieves half.
Aggression from XSET on their defense. They are deep knife, deep dart, gives them information towards B main, and it post-step on that angle. But 100 Thieves are nowhere near there, really, at all. Just bang lurking through mid, and they're going to be taking these Spectres into these close range angles. And see if they can favor a bit of a fight. The nade over the top of screens. That does push them back for but a moment. 100 Thieves, surely they're going to be trying to take this one again. The wall goes up across screens, but portions of it broken once more. With Derek falling, the first kill for XSET.
And in fact, they've gone for the same wall again from Asuna. He gets vulnerable, taken out by BCJ, just going for a bit of spam. There is a lurk from Bang through mid, but it is way off.
Yeah.
Bang has been in the same position the entire round, hoping for someone to walk into him, I assume. But he really wasn't present at all, and that's just back-to-back Prime Gaming flawlesses, but in the opposite direction this time. I don't think that wall got very much value there. I think XSET on the retake from screens are just able to break it far too quickly.
Yeah, especially when you have the
rifles in their
weapons.
hands.
Exactly. I mean, I can understand the idea, I think, from 100 Thieves, which is if you take screens control, you can force those closer fights up towards screens and up towards the rafters.
Yeah, maybe you're
Spectres.
denying some position away from where XSET would like to be throwing some of their defensive utility.
Of course.
But the snakebite still came through there and punished Asuna for it. So let's have a look. It looks like a bit more of a clash towards B, so you'll get an opportunity to witness what XSET have been doing here, which is throwing the knife early on to try and get Def posted up here in such an aggro position. And this time it works. He beats Derek to the line because Derek was trying not to get suppressed.
Yeah, tagged up by that knife.
Instead, he gets killed.
Slightly worse.
It's a little bit worse. But, you know,
Yeah.
you pick your poison.
Well, here's the good news is Asuna has the Resurrect available. Been farming up the kills in the orbs.
They are holding for it, though. If you think you're going to get this res off for free...
They're going to have to war for it. They have to. Nade's still being held. Dropped inside. Bit of the spam. Damage is done. Bang is so low.
Surprised there, actually, that it got that level of value. Zekin's got to escape here.
The movement. Skipping a dodge. 5 bullets left in the rifle. Has to back away from this, though. He is going to get postured away eventually. But this lurk from Aaron. He gets information. He hears the footsteps. Is he going to try and take a peek as well? The timing could be everything. Just a quick B-hop right round the side, but he still swings it. Confidence from him. He's going to get caught out of position, though. That's Bang just watching that one flank.
Yeah, he was pretty confident the Bang had already left that spot. It's not the case.
30 seconds left.
Zekin's got it all to do in the 1v3, and the Boombot takes him down to 74. Yeah. Easy cleanup for Stella. And off screen, those 2 picks that happened underneath Tube are really the game changers there for XSET. While the fight was happening in B main, they lose too many players, really, to sustain a decent defense in the rest of the round. And 100 Thieves are already showcasing on their attack side a propensity to dig into different avenues. From XSET, we saw them go A the vast majority. Here are those kills that happen in mid. BCJ trying to take down the turret and weaken some of the mid hold. Normally, Stella is going to be over by A. You heard the Des talk about it. Put the mid down, put the turret down in mid. Stella goes and holds A for any aggression over there. This time, playing off his turret. You can spam that turret position from a safe spot under Tube or when Bang's poison orb blooms. But teams don't really do it very often. I'm not sure why, but there is potential to condition Stella that he cannot have his turret up. You could even push down Tube and try wallbanging it from Tube.
People aren't playing Killjoy these days.
That's true. I mean, maybe these teams just don't have as much experience trying to counter the Killjoy. It's quite a European thing. She is German, after all.
Yeah. I don't think that has anything to do with it.
No, doesn't it?
No.
What have I been doing? Picking Phoenix in all my games?
Throwing, I guess. I mean, it's not quite. Your Phoenix is actually legit, which is weird.
Well, this is going to be a pretty important swing round here. XSET's economy is not looking amazing. A couple of players with not much to go for. Zekin Only with a classic right now. I assume BCJ is going to drop him something. Or maybe they're just going off the rip. The A players are very grouped up for some defensive aggression. He's going to get a rifle in his hands there.
Yeah, he got bored at the end.
But if XSET lose this round, 100 Thieves are going to start running away with the score.
Yeah, the score, the economy's going to be starting going their way. Nade it to the back.
I like this nade.
A rendezvous.
Most of the time, the Chamber's going to choose to leave and give up a lot of space there as their rendezvous gets broken.
The timing of this one, the drone. Oh, he got blocked. Just a moment, and the angle was being watched by Cryo, yet still the kills come through. Will, saturated up top, still the return. Right from Kitchen, Derek tries to supplement it. Send out that Hunter's Fury. In the garage position, he only got the one tag, but he's left alone now. Back against the wall, 1v3.
And with the spike nowhere near. As soon as they get any contact here from Def, the player down
Swing.
from Tube is going to swing.
Ooh, has to be wary, but no, yeah.
Triple
XSET
face.
it with a triple, yeah.
So there was a little bit of kind of anti-synergy going on there from 100 Thieves in their round, though. When Will throws the nade to force Cryo back away from Yellow, he's now in a position to hold for Asna's push.
Yeah.
So that kind of ended up biting 100 Thieves there, the way that they approached that round. You can see here that Cryo is now in position to hold this angle underneath Tube, and Will hadn't quite got on top of Tube quickly enough with his blast packs to trade that kill out. Of course, the timing, as you said, Brent, getting broken a little bit by the fact that they ran into BCJ's drone and got body blocked by it. Bit more of defensive aggression here coming out as Zekken breaks the drone that allows Cryo to set up with his tour de force underneath. This is a spot where Will got value in a couple of rounds for 100 Thieves on their defense.
Oh, has to clear the close angle, but he's posted up. This is dangerous for 100 Thieves. They don't end up breaking that knife. They do jiggle it, though. They're aware. Cryo, though, the disrespect. He still sits on this angle. Doesn't TP away.
It's a bit dangerous for him. I'm sure he's aware that Will is so close. But he's not going to give up a rifle even if he dies to this eco from 100 Thieves. I say eco, it's a bit more of a half-buy with Asna still hero rifling.
Could do some damage, but... Oh, takes the wrong approach still. Doesn't pay for it with his life. Forces that TP back. Just he's now starting to scale to B main. They've already got the site, and with the wall drop down, they're going to be able to get a plan. Even with this weapons, this is not the situation that you want to put 100 Thieves in. XSET now. They don't deny it.
100 Thieves had 100% success rate in their post plants against FaZe on Icebox. It was the stat that powered them to their comeback. And you've just allowed them to get the spike down for free.
Killjoy ult as well. That's going to push them back and away for but a moment. Still, space can be taken at the back of Yellow. What a shot by Def. Showstopper. Zekken lets it rip. Only does a bit of damage. It tickles Derek down to just a bit of health. The reset of the aim is just not enough. And all the players of 100 Thieves, they topple down. Aggressive. That's the name of the game from XSET. Don't let them get comfortable and set up those post-plant situations.
Yeah, I love the way that they played that. Using all of their utility to push 100 Thieves into really uncomfortable spots. And starting to push forwards as the lockdown was still going off. Using the fact that there was a tiny sliver of a gap down Yellow that they could push up and get onto aggressive angles. Obviously, Zach and a Showstopper as well. Getting the massive value in just forcing 100 Thieves to run away.
Yeah.
But now, guns in hand, 9-9 the score. Anybody's game to take home.
So back and forth. Viper's Pit, Aaron ready and waiting. Hold it now, wants to drop this down, probably on top of pipes. See if he does it correctly. Does. Spills out of the bottom section.
And so far, in terms of the rifle v rifle rounds, XSET are up 4-2. This does not bode well for 100 Thieves here, as they are inches away from getting eco'd again. Def has used his ultimate too. That's the null command, stopping any utility from clearing Aaron out of this pit.
Yeah. Wow. Derek was using his drone, I think, as well, but...
Yeah, that gets cancelled. No opportunity for Will to use his boom bot.
So they're so worried about clearing these angles.
But now that the time has ticked down, Will has boombot and he has a showstopper. These are good tools to try and attack Aaron inside the pit.
He's up top, but he is in such a high position. He's dropped right up inside of them. Anticipating that they could be just surrounding him from every single angle, and the backup is there. The rest of his team follow up.
What a demon! Aaron is just spectacular inside his ult. The 3 rounds in which I've seen him inside the Viper's Pit, he has just been an unstoppable force. The Rat King. In, out, pushing them aggro.
You don't expect that.
No,
but
not
also,
at all.
just it's smart, I think. Most players, they back off. They play towards
passive,
Maze
yeah.
and 410 after getting that first pick. But
He ran at them.
He ran at them. Because, I mean, it's likely that they've, contacted around. They've worked their way in those positions. Only 5 seconds left for Stella. An impossible task.
And 100 Thieves are back onto another low buy. XSET have mounted such an exceptional comeback in this map. And the first half, of course, it finishes 6-6. But 100 Thieves then win the pistol. And XSET are in a position again, staring at another comeback that they need to mount. What a play from Arid.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he ran forwards as well just to try and dodge the utility that was coming his way.
Yeah.
I think there was a nade that was slammed at the back of pipe, so he was forced forwards regardless, but he made it work.
And XSET's defense has been crushing so far. 100 Thieves have not been able to come up with an answer.
And it is the half by Sheriffs, Marshals, 100 Thieves. Looking for anything to drag them back. The economy into this fight with the wall going up. Now a drone, that's second, uses that nade, pushes them back. Trying to drone out of garage, you're going to be pushed out of that one very quickly.
They've neutralized garage so effectively, but then also they're getting pushes off like this.
So aggressive.
I mean, Zek and Def, they're so happy to go for these pushes, and it sets up Cryo for these more passive, safe sightlines that he can work. That could open things as Stella picks up BCJ, but he's the last one alive in a 1v4.
Looks his way into mid, but yeah, I mean,
I just love this defensive aggression from XSET. I think it's calculated perfectly off the back of their utility, and it's catching 100 Thieves off guard. They feel like they should get space, and it's all been robbed away.
My first response to it is often that, okay, well, playing risky, you might give away a rifle or two, but yeah, it's denying 100 Thieves the possibility of being comfortable. I was holding my breath for a second there. Stella, when he's rattling off shots, you never know what he's capable of.
Yeah, and they have really empowered Cryo in this game. He's 23-12 right now, and that's over a kill per round. He's been spectacular. Brent, in the playoffs in Stage 1, Cryo became a different player. He had about 25% more damage in the playoffs. He had a third more kills in the playoffs. He had 50% more first bloods in the playoffs compared to groups. If Cryo comes in playing at this level, at his playoffs level, they're making it to Copenhagen. I mean, he could just be the difference maker that sends them to Masters. Of course, a long way away from that, but even winning this match would put them in the top 3. A feat that they haven't been able to manage before. And he takes his operator down mid, courtesy of BCJ's drone.
Players, you can feel them driven on both sides, both teams. Fighting, giving it their all. Love a win here in this series. Puts them one step away from making Copenhagen if they ended up winning the next matchup here. That knife gets great information. Denies the drone as well from clearing too much more.
And the question is, how does 100 Thieves get the plant down? The same question, but on a different side. They're going to rely on Will.
It looks like XSET were completely ready for it. As soon as the showstopper gets hurt! I mean, Def just had the nade ready to flash. And he returns the fire.
And here's the
Wall being
Odin.
broken, the Odin. It's all just counteracting everything that the 100 Thieves are doing. Not allowed to try and get that plant down, but Stella with the kills afforded to him. He has the lockdown. Instantly, though, another response. XSET, they let rip the Hunter's Fury.
30 seconds left.
It clears the way, paves the way, but the Viper's Pit is down. 100 Thieves, 25 seconds on the clock. They need to get this spike down.
Def throws out the knife, knows that there's still 2 players here. They haven't gone on any kind of quick rotate. The spike is going to go down on A, and as soon as they hear a tap, the time is ticking. The XSET players are going to try and crunch.
There it is. Yes, tapped. Still being held. Jenny, the players running into this one. It's just up to BCJ. Turnable, and now the double face. Positioning, it's immaculate right now, and 100 Thieves, they just about claw it. Bang into Viper's Pit.
An incredible effort from him. Bang just holding on to this round with everything he's got. 10-11 the score. They are going to still be able to buy. A dropped weapon from Bang over to Derek too. So it's still looking good. But you can see even on that round where they invest the showstopper to get in, a Viper's Pit for the post plan, a lockdown too, except read every single one.
They were ready for every step of it.
They were. They were ready.
With the exception of Bang. How do you be ready for Bang? This guy's too good.
You can't be ready for Bang. And it just feels like XSET have got the read on how 100 Thieves are going to be approaching this half. It's another drone down mid to set up Cryo on this line. They've pinged out the turret, broken it with the Odin, and there, it's an unnecessary headshot, but it's a stylish one.
Cryo opens it up. A first kill for the team. Bit of pace from 100 Thieves now as they realize Cryo's not posted up on that B main angle. But still, look at the XSET players. They are just kind of surrounding it, and there you go. The spam coming through. Hunter's Fury, that is the plant. At a slight off angle. Derek wants to clear some space for his team to be able to at least afford it, and they are in a favorable situation.
But this is going to be a retake once more where Zekken has his ult. The last time we saw a B retake, it was off the back of Zekken powering forward with the showstopper. He catches well, it's only Derek left standing.
1v3, the nade as well, it's afforded to him once more. Zekken is firing on all cylinders. Spike is just being stuck, it's halfway there, and it's a triple face once more. XSET too clean with the fundamentals. And the game plan they've got in their back pocket, they know the way that 100 Thieves want to play this side of things. It's probably part of the reason that we're even seeing Icebox being played in the first place. It's not a map that we've seen XSET play that much.
I absolutely agree with you, Brent. I think XSET have read this half perfectly. Despite losing the pistol, they're still up 12 to 10. And frankly, I think 100 Thieves just didn't do enough in the first half to try and limit XSET on their arguably slightly more dangerous side, or slightly weaker side, rather, where there is more danger. I mean, 100 Thieves won both of the pistols here.
Yeah.
And whenever they get into post plants against FaZe, they were 100%. Right now, they're 2 and 3. These retakes have been working.
It's the retakes, it's pushing them off. Sometimes they're not even allowed to even get in them in the first place. And guess what? A first kill once more going the way of XSET. Luckily, the Resurrect is there, so they're able to return it back. But the money situation, the guns, it's not ideal for 100 Thieves. They are investing everything into this one to stay in this map.
Now would be a fantastic round for Bang or Stella to find some kind of opening on a lurk through middle. They haven't been going for that too much. There was only one round that I can think of where Bang was taking an extended journey through his Viper Orb, pressure into Kitchen.
A little bit worried now for them still. Okay, quick little dash, a tip-tap, running past the fragment. Will does fall, taking too much damage in the process. Defto still has that ultimate, he was holding on to it, and here has let it rip. Bang with the mid, look! It's shut down! Aaron gets the better of him.
And Aaron's had his number. Aaron's been playing an absolute blinder in this map so far.
Players, it's a quick, mad dash for 100 Thieves. 35 seconds. They do have the spike. They do have the position afforded for them. Even the wall, which will eventually go down. What do you do against this? It's going to take a miraculous effort. Stella does have the operator. Long sight lines can be held.
Yeah, if he's able to find an opening here, but he's not actually looking towards Snowman. Okay, now it sets up. And this should be a good angle. Def with no flashes.
Jiggle peek though.
It's a jiggle.
Gets the information. They know that the player's there. A knife thrown to the back. Now the snake bite just to push them away. And they are just not letting up in the slightest. XSET are coming at them with full force. Every weapon at their disposal. But now it comes down to the 1v1. Derek to stay in this map. He's up against Aaron, but the flank timing, too smart. And time afforded just about. The circle retreating. He's going to get this defuse off an XSET. They're going to be taking map number 1. Icebox goes their way. What an astounding back and forth between both of these teams here. And I mean, XSET, they were given an additional day to prepare. That was the, you know, the boon, I suppose, they were granted with that one, coming in at that top-seeded team in their group. And they knew exactly what to do on Icebox against 100 Thieves there.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's not always about the composition that you have. It's about how you play it and how you counter what your opponents are doing. And I think you've got to give credit to Def there and the coaching staff of XSET because they came in and played a masterclass on their defense.
Absolutely. Let's go to a short break on the other side of things. Of course, our analyst desk going to be breaking down all the action and the continuation of the series, so don't go anywhere.
Hello and welcome back, everyone, to the VCT North American Stage 2 playoffs, where we are making our merry way along that upper bracket. Our first match of the day is between 100 Thieves taking on XSET. We just wrapped up map number 1. It was on Icebox, and this was the map pick from the side of XSET. And I have to say, despite the fact that we saw 100 Thieves winning both pistols, despite the fact that, Ender, you were very vocal about the fact that you thought the lack of a Sage in their comp was a mistake, we do see that XSET was able to pull out a win.
I feel like coach of XSET Psycho's just sitting out there, and he's just like, yeah, rep the set, guys. Thanks for really believing in us. Honestly, they did what they needed to on attack to facilitate their defense. That's, I think, what really worked for XSET, because we talked about how they weren't going to have the Sage. They wouldn't have any walls. It's going to be super tough. And we did see the play towards A round after round. And 100 Thieves started to fall prey of XSET finally just pushing through their shields and figuring out at round 8, we can start to cycle ult after ult, and that's how they started to bring their rounds back into their favor.
Yeah, it seemed like because of the composition and the lack of a Sage, like XSET were almost forced into going A
Right.
over and over again, and it was really hard to pivot into a B hit late in a round, right? You know, Viper was oftentimes going towards the A side because they were never going to hit B, so they just didn't have the ability to do that. And yet, when it actually came to taking that A site, we did see them be very successful in it. It looked like their hits were working for them, and sometimes, whether it was 100 Thieves playing slow to retake S5 or whatnot, they had control of the site and were winning out in the late round moments. Very aware of the flanks from 100 Thieves.
You point out a good point, because Riv, before we got to the end of that map where we saw that XSET was able to pull out that victory, we saw at the beginning of the first half in particular, it was completely in the dominance of 100 Thieves. They were able to make the score 6-1.
Yeah.
And a lot of that was due to the fact that perhaps some Sage walls would have actually been kind of nice.
They absolutely would. We have a few vids of it, but looking at how much the composition of XSET brought to the table needed their ultimates to win, right? Sideshow and Brent said it, they're like, Aaron is playing in these Viper pits immaculately, and that's what they absolutely needed, because we saw the Sage Wall plants not go down. They try to plant up and hut. They get spammed through. They can't get themselves pressure into the lower part of the site. 100 Thieves feels comfortable to move up. So there had to be, here the videos, there had to be a lot of adjustments XSET made, so they just didn't get thwarted in these situations where, again, a Sage Wall would always give you the advantage.
Yeah, and we see a lot of great examples right here of how 100 Thieves were like using utility to stop the plant from coming through, or here, as soon as the Viper goes down, it becomes very hard. Look at this, they're spamming through top of Nest, like you were mentioning. Poor BCJ's like, man, this really sucks. Why do I have to take the spike into the site? That is not a fun job without the wall.
Now, of course, we're going to be diving into talking about the next map in just a second, but I do want to lightly touch on the side of 100 Thieves as well. We saw them do a lot of things correct, especially in that first half when they got so many rounds on the board, but Ender, it does have to be said, for all that they did correctly, there were a few moments where sometimes the execution of their plan was a little bit lackluster.
Yeah, so there's two things that sort of went wrong for them, I feel like. One on defense, one on attack. And on defense, it starts out with them trying to flank. And they had a couple of good moments early on in the half where they were sending multiple members to try and commit onto a flank, but they got into situations where they just took sort of the wrong gamble on that flank. We had the situation with like the double Viper pits going down on the site, where they both go up onto belt, you know, the two players trying to flank, holding hands, trying to trade each other, but then they run into a wall because XSET are all playing forward on the site and not giving them fight. So they have to give up their flank, they get crossfired, it starts to fall apart. And there were some other moments too where they had the option to flank with multiple members and decided, no, actually we'll rotate back with team, go through spawn, we send one player, and they get shut down. So that sort of limited their effectiveness with those flanks. And then when you turn the card and you look at their attacking side, rather, this comp from 100 Thieves is so effective at attacking the B site. And we've seen that previously when they have played this composition. Usually you'd have like Will drop his Roomba down over towards A, get some early information, then sprint over to B, and we'll follow the drone into the site. We've got the double walls to make sure we can get a plant. But they weren't doing that. They tried to do these splits towards mid. They tried to go A so many times. And A is the only site where the Viper wall is going to be. So on B, you don't have to worry about a Viper wall most rounds, and you don't have to worry about that late Sage wall to prevent you from actually planting the spike. So I think their tendency towards A was a bit of a miss.
Yeah, we definitely saw Cryo have a fun field day when they chose to go down mid. Hopefully we'll be seeing something different coming on as we head into our second map for this series, and it will be on Ascent. Riv, as we took a look at the map picks and bans earlier, were you surprised to see that 100 Thieves were the ones to pick Ascent when it has been quite a while that we've seen them on this map?
Absolutely. Just over a month that they played TSM on this map. Like I said, when the show started, I did a bit of a mock-up, and Ascent was not to be in here, right? We haven't seen it for a month. They shouldn't play it. But sometimes when you rethink it, maybe they have taken that time to bolster their Ascent, make it that much stronger, and you're adding something new to your map pool. because you've switched up the team, maybe it is something that works for them now.
Yeah, I think 100 Thieves' preparation is really interesting because I think it's both a blessing and a curse. I think we saw a little bit of a curse on Icebox where they changed up what was so effective, the B site hits, because they didn't want to be readable against XSET. That cost them a little bit. But now as we go towards Ascent, a fairly new map for them, been a month and a half since they played, as you mentioned, this is where it works out so well because they always come in with a very strong default plan. What is the strategy? How are they going to take mid control? That is going to define how they play their attacking side, as well as their post plants. Expect some interesting positions towards that spike. I'm trying to imagine maybe planting a little bit more towards Dice on the A side, opening up a post plant from Tree. They have always tried on Fracture, on Split, multiple maps to be able to peek that spike in the late round from 2 positions. So opening up that in the late round is going to be key for them on Ascent.
Well, we're going to be diving into Agent Select here in just a second, but as we wait for that, Riv, what would you love to see from the side of 100 Thieves composition-wise?
I want to see 100 Thieves take... I love the way that in most maps they control mid, and the way that they surround each other when they control mid. Ender had a really nice visual on it earlier, that there's always somebody in the wing, whether it's visual to whoever's playing, it's just around the corner that they're anchoring each other on shots. And that's, honestly, to pull out another name, is what made EG so good right now. They anchor with each other, they trade with each other, and I think 100 Thieves can really take control of Ascent. You get out into middle, it's your map, and either attack or defense, and they're really good at also kind of calling that audible, so wherever they need to spread out, I think it would work.
Yeah, and I think, too, the last time we saw them play, I believe they were still playing the Jet on that map.
Yeah.
I'd like to see them maybe transition over into a Raze Fade if they want to lock that in. The other thing I wanted to point out, and as I say that, of course, they do lock in the Jet. So one of the things 100 Thieves feel strongly about on this map is having one strong op agent. So the question was, would they have a Chamber in there or the Jet? They value the Killjoy on this map, which I think is a great read. I think Killjoy is very, very strong, and that's why we see Will, of course, going over towards that Jet role.
I'll take KJ on any map. Give it to me. The KOs are huge. I think the movement on this map for XSET needs to be perfect. I think we'll see them sitting back a little bit when they're on the attack side, obviously starting defense first. But looking at how XSET absorbs and reads their opponents, I feel like this composition works for them this time. They should feel a bit better, more in the wheelhouse of what people want to see as well for agent compositions coming into a map these days.
Yeah, I think so many things to keep in mind here. Of course, like the mid pressure is going to be applicable for both teams. The other thing always, since we have seen a little bit less KO and Jet lately, is KO and Jet love to hold hands on defense and take control, push aggressively A and B main. So keep your eyes out for that aggressive defensive play.
Well, we saw XSET take map number 1. Can they close this out, or will 100 Thieves tie up the scoreline 1-1? Let's head to our casters, Pink and Blue. It's Bren and Sideshow.
I don't know. I don't get it. But I'm also slow of mind.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Slow of mind and kind of heart. That's what we've always called you, Bren.
Yep.
But this game's about to be a doozy. I have no idea what to expect for Ascent. It's normally
an unknown quantity.
Normally, XSET's permaban. They have only floated it against 100 Thieves. And that, to me, indicates disrespect. Like, we can open our permaban to you because we don't think you're good enough at this map. And they're also playing strange roles. Zekken back onto the Sova. They've got BCJ on Omen. So, if 100 Thieves can't win here, it would be pretty disappointing for the squad.
Such an interesting one. So much just being used as well to try and clear out Tree there with the drone fragment. Now, quick smoke down, cloud burst to try and get the cross in. The dash is enabled to see if it actually gets utilized. There we go, straight into the boathouse, but the crossfire is there. Aaron not being cleared out of B main. He's got the prime location for trying to shut down this approach, and they do it relatively easily.
Bopped. Absolutely bopped. And 100 Thieves are pinging out on the map here, where they flanked from, I think, as there was a push out through A main. Zekken was running his way into the plant, into the site, sorry, to fend off that hit. And I would imagine here, Brent, we might be in for some whimsical battling, because if XSET are playing on their perma, they probably, I'm going to assume they haven't had too much scrim time on Ascent. Historically, if they've been banning it out. Maybe they specifically prepped it against 100 Thieves and it's some kind of crazy pocket pick. It's possible.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Over these teams, I mean, we don't have a lot of information for this map on them.
No.
It is a lot of unknowns.
Neither of these teams play it too often.
And so,
I think that's why XSET are comfortable floating it, specifically against 100 Thieves.
100 Thieves.
They ban it against everyone else.
So this map really comes down to the question for me is, which team is going to be pulling out the more interesting wild card in terms of their compositions. It's a fast approach from 100 Thieves. They're not through the choke point, though. One way was difficult to try and get through, and yeah, now with little space really being gained, the spike is just slowly making its way now back over towards B, but no B main control for Stella. Has just been holding it at a slight angle.
Yeah, just a really passive hold, and that's a pretty classic position for Stella to be playing. No matter what the map is, he's going to give you some level of extremity hold, but probably not very aggressively. Playing his life more than trying to play the map control. Just farming up an orb, moving back around. They're going to see what they can get on here, but it looks like it should be fairly clean for XSET.
Yeah, guard as well to try and push back the... Once more, the attempt to trying to get this spike down. It's a clean round.
And now we get to see how confident do XSET feel on their defense side. We've seen that their map pool's been in an interesting position recently. I'm thinking back to the game against the Guard where they finally lost their streak on split, and yet were able to battle back in that series and win on the Guard's favored picks. Does XSET have something cool to cook up on their bonus round here? They're not going to go for any kind of, shark attack or tiles push with Cryo having a Marshal in his hand, I'm sure. But it does look like they're going to go for an aggressive play towards A main. They've been running this a little bit with BCJ playing alongside Def.
Right here.
And Aaron is... This is the second round now out of 3 where Aaron's taken an aggressive position in B main to start the round. Now he drops off and plays towards Market as Cryo gets smoked. Come to assist the Jet. But that might be something to keep an eye on. If Aaron wants to get aggro with a Spectre or a Judge or something on that side of the map. Have a Killjoy battle.
Good info once more from the knife. Yeah, so much to take into account, so much to take in with both of these teams playing these compositions. The one-way's set up once more. And Smoke gives Def the angle he needs to know when he should be dropping down. That nade Cryo. Okay, Marshal in hand does get the tag. On the kill, though. A bit of fire exchange between either sides. But Paranoia now in hand for Bang. Wants to try and set something up for his team to try and push through here. Def ready and waiting. The flash and the dash. It all combines, and it's a beautiful one for Will. Takes off one of their heads, but BCJ's one step ahead. Playing inside their own cloud burst. Cryo with the Marshal off at that one angle. He does return once more. A shot onto Derek.
Finishes off the same damage that he'd done earlier on in the round.
Yeah.
And now it's down to Zekken and Aaron. They know that Asana's positioned over on Catwalk, and a good opportunity for Asana to just get back with the rest of his team.
And Thieves now need to convert this one without losing anybody else.
Yeah, otherwise it starts to get a bit too expensive for them. Is there going to be a swing off the back of this drone? Yep, that's what they were playing off.
Lovely spam. Still working his way through. I mean, Aaron removes one more from coffers, I suppose. Gonna have to delve deep, fire up another gun into the next round, but...
And it's not a bad bonus, honestly.
Nah, round on the board for 100 Thieves, exactly.
Yeah, it's... they do enough damage to 100 Thieves there that it's going to be a little wonky coming into round 4. And they've set themselves up with a large economical advantage. They can get an operator into the hands of Cryo, too. And crucially, they've won the pistol round that so eluded them on Icebox, despite the fact that they ended up taking the map away. So, XSET are in a decent position here to start out map 2 on their permaban. I suppose it's not exactly a permaban if you leave it open, though, is it?
Wow.
Their usual ban, let's say.
Ban, yeah. Leaving it open against 100 Thieves. The game of chicken between them, honestly. Which team is putting in the more prep? Which team feels the most comfortable on it?
Whoops.
Slight miss of the one-way.
Talking about feeling comfortable.
Yeah.
BCJ, not a regular Omen player.
No. Listen, it happens. Trust. But Cryo with this operator as well. The entire time he's been locking down that one angle in B main. Players of 100 Thieves, I don't think they've been really playing for B main control at all. It's just been Stella quite passive, right?
And that might hurt them in this round, because as Derek gets tagged up with a knife, it looks like 100 Thieves want to pivot into a mid to B. They could always return to Derek through Catwalk, but definitely looks like a B piece here. They're going to be beating Cryo and Aaron.
The timing! It's absolutely everything. The players whip around, though. They find that one kill. Cryo? No pressure on him through B main. He spots the one player, just their gun passing through. Smoke up top as well. Surely you're not going to be able to take this angle. He
Without
has
a dash?
Operator!
Without a dash!
Just works his way into it. Plays inside of it, knowing that there could be the possibility of a player trying to jump up and around. The reset of the aim, not enough. BCJ with the 2. Now it's up to Derek. Is it planted in a position where he can warbang? It is off into the corner. He's going to have to do more than that. The damage is there for BCJ. Fell very low as he was sticking at the fuse, but Cryo was locking down that one sight line.
And that's the problem with not having B main control. Had they pushed Cryo off the angle in B main earlier on in the round, then perhaps that mid to B play would have worked. They would have been able to get the Jet into a position where they could more easily deal with him or potentially trade him out. But Cryo just got all of the information. He knew where everybody was going as they passed into B and allowed him to get a sneaky timing inside his own smoke. It's still a ridiculous play to go for, pushing down lane. But playoffs, Cryo will go for those.
Yep. The guy's got confidence in spades.
Yeah, and he seems to turn up in these kind of matches. More aggression here as Cryo moves his way around over to A main. Looks like the same defensive hold as the one-way goes down. Recon gets broken. This time there's an op behind it.
One-way for a one-way in the swings this time. Finding a bit of damage.
That's beneficial, though, because that's a rifle being dropped inside A main. And this time, the Killjoy battle that I was talking about earlier, Stella finally tries to take a bit more of an aggressive approach, and Aaron punishes him.
I can't believe this. Winning out the fight on either side. Cryo, he's still just egoing this. The dash-enabled bang, though. Runs his way through onto the choke point, and it's just an alternating as the swings from XSET shut down at eco.
Yeah.
Half by. Could have got dangerous, but it wasn't. So.
Yeah, could have got a little dangerous with the rifle getting gifted over to Bang. But the swing timings are pretty perfect right now from XSET. Zeko and Cryan playing off each other masterfully over there at A Heaven. And XSET get out to a decent lead here, the likes of which they have not seen in this series so far.
Wonder, Josh, as well, you talking about this Killjoy battle that's taking place. This time 100 Thieves, it looks like they're gearing up for a fast approach into B main. A fast fight.
And even if they do this just as a fake to maintain B control later in the round, I think this is a good adaptation.
There wasn't much of a giveaway there, but now with the Paranoia playing tucked into the logs, oh, he gets the shot on his target. One on the head of Will, but only the Spectre doesn't do enough to take him out of the action.
It is a nice B take. They've given up anybody towards mid, though. And Def has that information, knows that it's not going to be a split. Now the question becomes, can 100 Thieves hold on?
Oh, Hunter's Fury from the back of the site.
Look at this double face. Good luck flanking this one, but no one's going for it.
No one, but they still control a B main position. Bang also has his ultimate. He could reposition at a moment's notice.
Does Stella use a lockdown here? That would be nasty. Oh, he goes for it. I love this idea. How on earth are you getting a retake off here?
You just have to inject once more the pace, the aggression into it. You cannot be serious.
I mean,
he's just going for it.
He can get half.
He can get half. He's going to be detained. The player's still holding this one. Bang, a TP's across into lane. There's one player there, catches the angle, the head shot is found. He finds the second one, but not enough.
What a bonkers round.
I mean, so proactive by XSET though, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Understanding we can't destroy it, we just have to go.
We have to go. And what pace they took to get into the site. They instantly made the call to go for the retake. Look how powerful they are on this retake, by the way. BCJ swings in. They've already got somebody going towards stairs. And it's over. These two players that were in B main, there's no opportunity for them to get back into the site. And I like the idea from 100 Thieves. They had a double high-low setup in B main for anybody who was trying to flank. And then the lockdown, I think, against most teams there, they decide to cancel the retake. They're not as immediately responsive on the audible. Yeah. But Def controls his players and commands them charge.
You don't see that often.
No, that's
Zero
a great
hesitation
round.
play. And 100 Thieves. Honestly, I like the way they opened that up as well with the B hit. It looked like it was just a lurk from Stella. It was only the turret to take the contact when they were pushing into that. There was nothing off of it. As soon as the turret spotted somebody, they Paranoia played and burst out.
Yep.
It had all the makings of a great idea from 100 Thieves.
It definitely did. Will was even able to collect that first kill onto Aaron, and they got in on the site. But it's another post-plant, Bren, that goes wrong. And I don't think we can really fault 100 Thieves in that situation. I think you've got to just give credit to XSET. These retakes have been good enough to take away the win condition for 100 Thieves in this game.
That kind of discipline that's drilled into XSET. It's the kind of team they're known to be.
And they have been waiting for an international appearance for so long.
So long.
This team has just been on the outside.
Fourth place for how long?
Forever. With different rosters all over the place. And they finally look like they're in form to be able to make at minimum a podium finish. If they can keep up this pace throughout Ascent, they will be there. Minimum bronze. Within touching distance of Copenhagen. Does 100 Thieves have what it takes to do the same thing they did against FaZe and mount a comeback?
That's the question. Both of these teams. You said the minimum podium finish for winning this series, Josh. Both of these teams aren't aiming for that.
Not at all.
They're aiming for that second place spot in this playoffs, or at least to win the whole thing. Make it to Copenhagen at any cost.
The knife is gorgeous in terms of the timing. I think he got information on at least 3 players there. And they're going to use the flash, recon, comboed together. I've got to say that the coordination looks really good for XSET considering they don't play this map. Bit of a trap, I think, that they've laid at the feet of 100 Thieves.
That's what I was wondering. You leave it open, you float it, you say to 100 Thieves, okay, you can pick this against us, our permaban, but it's which side is prepared the most for this? This unknown quantity.
Oh, and the 25-second lockdown being used to funnel all of the players into A. Now the responsibility on Def and BCJ.
This could turn bad pretty quickly. The 100 Thieves find some targets. They know there's a player deep in hell tucked away. BCJ gives away his life, and they're all over the place. It's going to be the recon spotting him. A quick wallbang through into the bottom of hell.
But they need to plant.
Right, and around the plant is going to go down. 3 players left remaining. I don't think they're going to be able to acquire these rifles. They're scattered across this way, that way, all over the place. Cryo still wants to lock down that one angle. The wallbang shot, the damage. Every player is so weak, and it's up to Derek. Large task, so much responsibility on his shoulders to even try and convert that for his team.
And Aaron's going to pick up the defusal. XSET with another round on the board. A nice anti-eco. It did look like it could have been a little dangerous there, but 100 Thieves are also playing against the clock. These players don't have... I mean, that's a great kill, a great opener for Will, but these players don't have the luxury of being able to support each other and pressure heaven. Asuna's got to stick that. He has to. There was 5 seconds left. He can't help the rest of his team. And XSET pulling off a bit of a masterclass here. Making 100 Thieves look silly so far. With weapons back in hand. Can they make anything happen? It's another round where Cryo's op is staring towards A main. And that's where the rest of 100 Thieves were trying to take space. He gets another opener.
First kills just leading their way. It was a big narrative we were kind of running with in the FaZe game, honestly. Will getting shut down a lot, wasn't getting those opening kills against them.
You heard 100 Thieves talk about it, actually. Right before this match, they said XSET are pretty similar to FaZe. You know, instead of having Baby Bay and Dicey, they've got Cryo and Zekken. And 100 Thieves said if we can shut these guys down, then maybe they lack the confidence and we can snowball that forwards. I don't think that's happened at all.
Ooh, that's a good one. Turns this now into the 4v4. Right down mid, Zekken getting his head ripped off, and now you see the contact play by 100 Thieves. A bit more purposeful with their approach. Knife gets information that they know that Stella's lurking that way, and that is going to be opting now into using this null command. Asuna wants to lead the charge for his team. Still though, the angle being watched. Derek, a slight jiggle, but his position was given away. And now the players just swarming once more, trying to take position up onto the side top lane. Def in a world of hurt, but luckily his team is helping him out. Stella left alone now, 1v2. Now down on the ground, baiting it out as well, just taps it. The potential for the res, but a swing for BCJ gives him all the information to know that the player was pushed up deep.
And if 100 Thieves can't win a round like that, I don't see where they're going to get their rounds on this attack half. They have the null command coming through in a B split where Stella already has B main control, and they still can't get the picks they need to open the site up. It took them so long to deal with the site anchors. Cryo was able to grab a pick in mid and then run through CT and grab another kill on the plant. I mean, XSET are so fast and responsive around the map, and 100 Thieves are not finding the value they need with their execs. Something needs to change, and change quickly. This is going to be a force buy. Stinger and a Spectre on the side of 100 Thieves.
Yeah, I think a bit of a showcase of maybe desperation, understanding that they need to get another round on the board. They need to convert something. tagged up though. All of this Sova utility is making it so hard for the 100 Thieves to just take mid control. I mean, that's 2 tags.
The double tag, brutal. Especially considering the drone just doesn't go as far anymore.
They don't kill the alarm bot either. Oh boy. They make it so obvious. 100 Thieves. Footsteps abound in B main. Def just offloads his own ultimate. The null command pushes them back. No ultimates, no utility, I should say. It's going to be able to be used, but it's going to fade away now and the noise cut by 100 Thieves.
100 Thieves have not been pressuring mid in all of these rounds, and this alarm bot is still going to continue to gain them information. 3 players still towards this A site anchor. Bang, working his way down mid. He's going to spot this alarm bot. Gets broken. What's the reaction here? They just sink back into more defensive positions, anticipating the B split coming through.
Yeah, at this point they know full well. Still, Fragment. No way is that the timing you're taking! Second whips it around, man. He finds 2 heads. And he really shouldn't have. The trade was there, but it's just up to Derek and Bang. Paranoia finds his way across. Time running so low, and he does find the shot. Def dropped to 10 health in the process, but 8-1 is the scoreline of this first half, man.
And they look immaculate, XSET. Cryo's got 13 kills, and he's only died a single time. He's immortal. He's a bit better than immortal. And Seconds manages to push through that nade and catch a timing where nobody's really watching for it. There's a split second there where someone could push past the nade, and there's no guns watching. If you just hold that for an extra fraction of a second, a quarter of a second, half a second...
He doesn't get that.
Then there's no threat.
Yeah, he doesn't get the 2.
But 100 Thieves are back on an eco after forcing that one up.
This time, dumping aggression once more. But again, that force from the prior round means 100 Thieves are just working with scraps.
And 100 Thieves have said in the past, they don't need their stars to perform. There's even distribution across this team. And I agree. And I think that's a great strength for them to have. But having your stars perform wouldn't hurt. And at the moment, I feel like in their last 2 games... Oops. Don't know whether that was supposed to go there. Def managing to escape from that, despite being team flash. But for 100 Thieves, it's been a series of games where they have to battle uphill against monstrous performances from their opponent. Cryo and Zekken are combining together here for a masterclass in these last 2 maps. And Will and Asuna still trailing in terms of their first kills.
Bullets just barely finding their marks. I mean, Will's escaped that one unscathed, but they know the positioning. They know that they're playing close up. Cryo, he holds a very passive angle of the operator in play. Damage being done as well. Derek, what can he really do? Apparently quite a bit. The Sheriff, 2 of the heads taken right off their shoulders. Spam up top as he hears that drone, tries to take him out of it, but as he jumps over, Cryo hits a ridiculous shot.
100 Thieves are going to have 2 last chances. How many rounds do they need? I think we've seen them do it with 3.
Yeah, we've seen them do it with 3.
So I'm not going to count them out completely, but my God, they are getting flattened right now. I'm talking about Will and Asuna, by the way, because in their previous series, in their last 2 series, in fact, they've gone -10 in terms of first kills to first deaths. Asuna's currently sat at 0 and 6 in terms of first kills to first deaths. So in these opening duels, 100 Thieves are losing with a large amount of consistency.
Trying to inject a bit of pace. The aggression comes into it.
And there's Asuna's first.
Yeah, Asuna does get it. He finds the second one on top of it. And look at this. None combined up. Derek unleashed his Hunter's Fury as well to try and at least help them out with this push. Aaron tries to swing through, catching a bit of a timing there, but the only thing he ends up catching is once more bullets to the cranium. Cryo ends up opting to use the knives.
I mean, that is pure confidence, isn't it?
It's a 1v4. Finds the one, finds the second. You have got to be joking. Up dash in. Derek shuts it down. Safe hands, safe hands.
Incredibly dangerous there. But also that just speaks to the level of confidence and the morale that is surging within the XSET camp. Of course, you can argue that wasn't the percentage play. You should probably save them for the final round, but the economy is through the roof. Cryo could buy himself a rifle to go alongside his op if he wanted to. That round, though, they found their success, 100 Thieves, by turning the pace up tremendously.
Yeah.
They went incredibly quickly. The Paranoia found large impact from Bang. And then Will and Asuna are in their faces before they can react.
Lights on popped off. The Paranoia just Scattered them across as well. It actually did temper that aggression to the 100 Thieves, once more pushing into this site. What is utility? Cacophony of just utility and particle effects coming across the entirety of the site, but it's XSET who want to try and play for the full retake. Spike being planted, Stella now with the lockdown, and that's going to be placed just slightly ajar across the wall. Drone now tags up Will.
This time they can't go for half. I mean, this is a different situation, surely.
Players holding so close. The spam though, counter spam. Asuna gets caught. Cryo's holding the angle. The lockdown doesn't catch onto anyone, and Will's position was known. It was held. Bang. What a task he's got. Separated away from all these smokes that are just, again, segmenting up the site. Last player standing is Derek, and he just cannot do enough. It's 10-2 at the half here, Josh, for them. 100 Thieves, they don't get that miraculous third that has powered them forward to these comebacks before, but we're going to go to a short break. We'll find out if it's enough on the other side of this one, or will this series just be ending? Do or die time in the upper semis now for 100 Thieves, but on the other side of things, XSET, this team that's never really been able to escape that fourth place curse, that aura of mediocrity, honestly, that everyone seems to associate with them. With a win here, it's a minimum of that third place. One step closer to try and claim that spot at Copenhagen.
And playoffs cryocells is powering them there. I said that this would be, in my opinion, the biggest difference for XSET getting to Copenhagen. He's 20-2 on this map in the half. It's astounding. Ridiculous. He's currently sat at about a 50% increase in his kills per round, doubling the amount of first kills he gets compared to his group stage performances, and absolutely diffing Will. It is ludicrous how good cryocells is when it comes to the playoffs. And here's Asuna responding with a first kill. I said that that had been what 100 Thieves were missing. Perhaps not giving up just yet. We know this team has astounding mental resilience. They'll have to put a lot more on the board before I start to believe. 100 Thieves won both of the pistols on Icebox. They've now won 3 out of 4 in the series, and it wasn't good enough for them then. They've been losing heavily in the gun rounds. And you can't rely on ecos, obviously, to power yourself through a series. They couldn't even afford to right now be knocked down to an eco. So this one has to be clean. Round 15's bonus has to be clean. There is no room for error. We've seen them in this situation before, though. They were able to pull off miracles. 2 out of 3 of their maps against FaZe, recovering a 3-9 deficit. But it can't last forever.
Will tucked away. Playing in Y now, a bit of a crossfire setup. You can see also with the knife. Oh, that does tag onto the player. Will dodging the flash.
Wow.
Running all the way up close. I mean, listen. He has the dash enabled, but he is suppressed. It is going to fade away for now, though.
Aaron getting peppered down there as Stella using the same kind of hold that Aaron was himself. Turret taken down, sends the timing over for the recon, but that itself is broken quickly.
Oh, and the damage is being done. Stella being given free reign of that B main position, but eventually they overwhelm it anyway. Even with the pistols in hand, it's enough. XSET are going to be able to get onto this side. The spikes planted and pushing them back.
And this would be an absolutely devastating loss for 100 Thieves. They need to keep this one clean. Zekken has been handed the Spectre, still with 100 health to his name. And looking like he wants to try and catch a cheeky timing here.
The spam players now working their way down onto the site. Asuna, wonderful little shot. Still, Zekken is there. The fuse in play. Shock dart lineup ever so slightly missing. It's just a jar. Will, he's sticking it. Healthy enough to do so. You can see the idea there from Zekken.
But in terms of keeping this one clean, it's not a win for 100 Thieves. They keep a Spectre on the board, 2 I believe. But everybody has to rebuy armor. And 100 Thieves, I mean, what is this bonus round? They have a Phantom, a Spectre, and 3 Sheriffs. With Derek, he could go for some kind of armor, but maybe saving to try and get an Operator in the hands of one of his players for later.
Contemplating as well how much utility he wants to buy. Double shock darts.
And if you just look at the economy, this looks like XSET should get up to 11 on the board. That is not a situation that 100 Thieves can particularly afford.
Quick sidestep to dodge that knife. Dart clearing through, but 100 Thieves making plays now. It's a flash and a swing. Asuna.
That was the rifle. Asuna looking for a play off the back of his flash, so now rifle goes over to Will. They're just passing it around, seeing if they can make some kind of aggression work.
He did the same kind of play on the pistol round, but it was with a drone pushed down mid. It was with at least a bit of information. This time it was just a risk being taken, I think.
A pure instinct kind of timing.
Yeah.
The paranoia there onto the drone does force out 100 Thieves, or rather XSET, sorry, to go and clear wine a little more.
Put it full exec though.
Removes a massive tool from Bang. Not that he would have been able to use it anyway, as Def's null command comes through.
Bang, he has to lock this down, just playing deep within hell. Let's get the 2 pickoffs, but now up to Stella. Up down to his knees, Def's going to be returned back to life. The alarm bot spotting out where Stella was playing from. The positioning is known now.
30 seconds
And
left.
as suspected, the economy that 100 Thieves were working with simply doesn't afford them an opportunity to win this bonus. They couldn't make anything work. So they haven't even really damaged XSET's economy at all with this round. Not a death blow.
Ooh.
And if Stella can grab another one of these, it could end up being a little dangerous for XSET. 100 Thieves need everything they can possibly get.
He's going to have to produce some absolute
Placing swarm grenade.
ridiculous performances. Not sure where that nano swarm went.
Bounces off a cable on the floor.
Yeah, off to the side, Def. Tidy. Cleans that one up.
XSET 2 rounds away right now from breaking that 4th place curse.
They'd love it.
And taking one step further to Copenhagen. Aaron was saying in an interview that we did with him at the end of the group stage, he used to study in Copenhagen. He was confident that they were going to return. He'd already bought the tickets.
He had already bought the
It
tickets.
seems like this confidence was well placed. Currently with a massive lead. And 100 Thieves, 4 players with light armor. Stella with his lockdown to work with if they want to play an A retake kind of setup. Throws down a very early nanoswarm to try and deny B main control.
Yeah, just that one angle. They're trying to push a player off who might be potentially playing there.
Aaron is playing even more passively, but the paranoia down mid is aggressive from BCJ, looking to fight them for mid control very early on.
They don't know that Will's repositioned just off to the side of Pizza down mid. The dash, though, is running out, and this might be his cue to get out of there. It is. Doesn't want to overstep himself.
Missed nanoswarms all over the place as Aaron just dumps one down at tiles. I don't think that one was intentional. You can see from the minimap that XSET are leaving themselves really open here to pivot in either direction. Most teams will try and take extremity control first on Ascent and then go through mid. XSET choosing the opposite approach. But in a heavy emphasis on mid control early, it allows them to split in either direction once they prod the extremities around the 50-second mark.
40 left in the round. Second running his way over towards this B side of things. Lockdown is placed down on the defenders as XSET with all the pressure on their shoulders. They're the ones who need to be able to deal with this one, yep. And it is slightly delayed. The lockdown, though, it gets destroyed. Not sure how, a bit of spam maybe, some of the utility coming into play, but they still don't have control of the site. That swing round, though, the position was not really known too well. Up to Asuna.
In a 1v3 to stop XSET from getting the match point here.
Oh, the spam, they know where he's playing, man. It's just not possible, is it? Ah, they just get him right through the wall. Wallbang in play. Now, as you were saying, Josh, 1 round away for XSET to be able to at least make it into that upper finals.
Yeah, we could have our first upper finalist here from North America. XSET are looking just sublime. Cryo hasn't even had to do the heavy lifting for them in this half. Already 22 kills, though. Majority of that done on their defense side. XSET have just looked perfect when it comes to the rifle rounds. 100 Thieves taking a timeout here. This could be their last attempt. Unless they can turn something around and make a run of things, they're going to be out down to the lower bracket at the minimum. Take a look at this round, though. The lockdown getting killed, I think, just with spam, as players got close to Boathouse. And XSET didn't rush things.
Oh,
I was anticipating them going much quicker. Oh, and Zekin getting such a punish there.
Yeah, with this timeout, 100 Thieves. I mean, listen, we have seen some ridiculous stuff, haven't we? But gonna need quite a bit to come back.
If 100 Thieves manage to pull this off, that organization will be the comeback team for forever onwards.
Yeah, just be etched into the history books.
But there's no reason to believe that they can. So far, XSET have been the better team in terms of getting value out of their heavy hitters, with Cryo Zekken up at the top of the leaderboard here. They've been better in terms of their attack game plans, even on Icebox, with what the Death thought was a little less of a favored comp, still putting up 6 rounds despite losing the pistol. I mean, XSET have been dominating the gun rounds. And 100 Thieves, they barely have a gun in their hand.
Yeah.
4 Spectres and a Guardian to try and keep this alive.
Not a single thrifty round win. Half by sure, but the economy's really looking rough. None of these teams have really edged it out. It's been these gun rounds that have been the difference maker, and XSET favored in almost all of them.
Do you finally believe? Is America ready to rep the set? This could be the round that puts them on the podium and sends them one step closer to Copenhagen.
Flash over the top. It's a risky play. Will he had at least the utility to supplement that swing, but he can't get the damage in.
I can't believe he doesn't get a kill there.
Good enough. He's using a Spectre.
Aaron has his lockdown. Zekken with an ultimate as well. Overwhelming advantages here for XSET as they go for an A-split.
That's a lineup, I think, to deny this lockdown. Aaron's got it. And he is going to be using it into this corner. The question is, deciding, which way do I want to place this?
They're waiting to break the alarm bot in mid first. They're making it look like a mid to B kind of fake.
Yep, and now it goes out. But, ready and waiting. There it is. Fragment is going to remove that one, but the players have already worked their way deep into mid.
30 seconds left here in XSET. They have no information towards B main. They might have overcooked this one and given 100 Thieves an opportunity. It's going to get scrappy. It's going to come down to the final moments here.
Yeah, right down to the wire. Def in his angle. Is it going to be cleared? It's a half clear, Stella. He wins it out anyway. The players scattered, just trying to run their way through into market for VCT. He knows he's being pressured. He has to watch down that angle. 10 seconds remaining. A rifle picked up, 6 bullets in it. A bit of spam into the angle, just in case there is a player there to catch it onto. Seconds low. 8 health. Aaron tucked his way onto the site.
Asuna's worried about a flank, but it's Zekken in this position. Will's got a decent read. Does he choose to full clear it?
No. They're giving it up. But Zekken doesn't dare peek this, not when he's so low. But he does eventually. He finds the great timing, and that is going to do it. Shuts it down. 100 Thieves not afforded the same opportunities of comebacks that they got in their prior series. And XSET with that minimum podium finish now. They make their way forwards into that upper finals. And they are just one game away, Josh. If they win that next one, they will be going to Copenhagen.
What a fantastic performance, and it's Zeko and Cryo Cells that get them over the line. It's perfectly thematic, and this team has done so well. They are the #1 seed in their group for a reason.
Yeah. These guys just powered forwards as well. A lot of risks being taken in this series in terms of them leaving Ascent open as well, but it paid off for them. And it's clear that Cryo Cells is just a different beast in the playoffs. This guy is just overperforming compared to his group stage almost every single time. It's a team that attracts a lot of doubters, but in the end, they are going to take it away, and we are going to go to a short break. Our desk breaking down all the action and setting up, of course, that second series in the day, Optic versus EG. You know you're not going to want to miss that one.
Where'd this guy come from? I don't know. Welcome back to VCT NA Challengers Stage 2. XSET just got the big win. Lights on, cameras, action. I figured Buck let me try out some of the hosting yesterday, so I just wanted to run it back, Smix.
All right, let's do it. Show us what you
No,
got.
I can't do the rest. All I know how to do is do the intro thing, and then after that, I'm lost, so please.
We are all good, but as Ender so eloquently put, we are back here with the VCT North American Stage 2 playoffs and just wrapped up that first series of the day, and it is XSET that is moving forward to that upper bracket final. And I have to say, this was incredibly impressive, Riv, because this was a complete reversal of the results we saw the last time around these teams faced one another. When 100 Thieves 2-0'd, this time around, XSET came back swinging.
And you can you get a little bit of that, what it looks like when a team sticks to their guns and they come out firing. Well, whether we say the Icebox wasn't going to be their pick because of an agent, they show us that they can still have breakout gameplay. Obviously, Cryo being absolutely stellar on Ascent as it came to it, but XSET has never been a team to give up. They always can show you something fresh. And here it was a stellar gameplay from all around on the team.
I mean, it was fantastic to see from them, especially like you mentioned, Cryo coming out 20 kills, 2 deaths at the half, just absolutely ridiculous. And I think he was such a big factor in them finding those early picks. XSET so consistently on both maps were able to get those first kills, and it was all due to his ability to float around Ascent, whether he was peeking A main and fighting with the team, or fighting more for mid or B main. He was so influential at moving around the map, and XSET never really knew where he was going to be coming at them.
It was kind of wild to think that it would come down to just Cryo for this map. Obviously, the team was working well, but they showed that they pushed the pace. They took their own game. They took the game into their own hands from Icebox to Ascent, and I don't think 100 Thieves was ready for that. 100 Thieves has been aggressive. They usually control the map, and when we saw them not have that control, it looked really lost.
Indeed, and Ender, you were the one to call this out at the beginning in the pre-show, that the way that XSET have really set up their playstyle, it is so heavily dependent on those first kills. And my God, we saw what can happen when they succeed on doing that time and time again.
Yeah, whether it's him on the attacking half and sort of his first kill allowing them to pivot into whichever site they want to hit, or defense. Again, Jet, Chamber, these oppers are all about finding the timings where you can jump in and find a kill. So as we go back through the Prime Gaming post-match highlights and check out this Icebox map, again, it was not that huge quick start for XSET. 100 Thieves were looking very, very strong. But as we got into the second half, XSET did not lose a first duel in the 10 rounds. In their second half, after round 1 and round 2, they won every single first duel. It was incredible to see them shut down TSM's. Oh my God, 100 Thieves attack!
You saw it there for XSET on Icebox. Pushed up, drone under 2, pushed up B. 410 is where Aaron got through down the ultimate, all on round starts. They wanted to get in the face of 100 Thieves right away, and I would say the Thieves, they got pickpocketed themselves this game. It did not look like they were ready.
Yeah, wow, that was something. I do have to say, I felt like
just dying over here.
I just died over here. I don't know. It's TSM, 100 Thieves, they both start with a T, I guess. Do they? One ends in a T. I don't really know. Please save me.
Yeah. Well, with your death, it's okay for all the 100 Thieves fans out there because they are not dead. They will still fall to that lower bracket where they will be moving on to be playing NRG. But it is time to speak to our victors as we do have Aaron ready for the Verizon post-match interview. So let's go ahead and bring him on and get their thoughts as after this series. Perfect. Aaron, congratulations. What an amazing, amazing performance that came out from you and the boys. First things first, I wanted to congratulate you on moving forward to that upper bracket final because last time around, XSET we saw had a much tougher go at it because you fell to that lower bracket so early on and you had to fight your way through round after round. How much better does it feel this time around to not only start from the group stage with that #1 seed and then now having such a smooth road to that upper bracket final?
I mean, thank you. The team's feeling great right now. I mean, to answer your question simply, it feels great. There's just not much to say about that. It's, I feel like we're very ready this season to make, the international event. That's always been our goal. And the way I see it, there's not many obstacles left.
I think one of the coolest parts as well about watching you and this team has been the continual improvement that we see. Last time around that you played 100 Thieves, we saw that in the group stage, they were able to take you guys down in 2-0 fashion, but this time around, it looked completely different. You guys looked dominant from the very start, reversing and getting that revenge 2-0. So what were the main takeaways that you got from that first time facing them in the couple of weeks that we've seen since then?
Well, I would say that the first time we played them, we were in a different mindset. I feel like we were also, we agreed that we actually played bad. We weren't really happy with what we did that day. Then we came back to the GAR and TSM and everything went really well. So coming back into this, I think the biggest difference this time compared to last time was our coaching staff, really took a focus towards this match. And, I think they got bamboozled a bit on the map picks. They probably thought we were terrible on Ascent. Shows that they were quite bad on Ascent. And we got to play the maps we wanted to play. It's unfortunate for them, but I think our coaching staff did a wonderful job this week.
Speaking of the maps, let's start with talking about Icebox, because that was a map where, despite the fact that we saw 100 Thieves win both pistols, despite the fact that they started with a 6-1 advantage, we saw you guys remain calm, cool, and collected and bring it back. And then in that second half, winning that first kill every single time. Break that down for us and how you guys were able to stay so calm and bring it back.
Well, I would like to tell you there's no like secret formula. It's just we do a lot of practice, and I would say Rory, Def, who calls on the T side, we brought it back, and he was very calm about it. And I think that's what some teams are needing. And we're really lucky to have him to be a good calming presence later in the halves. And then I think I was watching another interview, but it just momentum is just ridiculous in this game. When you start going, like you said, 6 rounds in a row on T side and then CT side, all the shots hitting our way on the gun rounds. So they played quite good in Icebox, but we were just way better on the gun rounds than them.
Absolutely. And I think another interesting takeaway is that we have seen so many teams rely on the stage to play that pivotal role composition-wise on Icebox, but XSET is one of the few teams that has strayed away from that. What is the biggest reason you guys are sticking away from Sage?
The main reason why we stick around Sage is because no one wants to die playing the bomb. I think it's that simple.
Okay, that's absolutely fair, and we saw how you guys were able to make it work in resounding fashion. Last question before I let you go, Aaron, is your next opponent is going to be either the winner of Evil Geniuses or Optic. Obviously, both of these teams are phenomenal teams. We've seen some amazing gameplay coming up out of them. How do you think these two teams stack up against one another and stack up against you?
Yeah, so for EG, Reform's my cousin, so I would love to play against my cousin. I'd crush him. They're not that good. And Optic, you have to pay some respects and due. They're, the ex-world champions. But if we want to be there one day or in Copenhagen, we have to beat them here anyway. So I'd say we're looking forward to Optic, and I think it's going to be a great matchup with the changes that we implement to this stage.
Absolutely love to hear the confidence coming up out of you. I'm curious to see whether you're going to be facing either your family or will it be the reigning Reykjavik champions. But for now, I will go ahead and let you go. Congratulations once again, Aaron.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. And with that, everyone, that will be it for our first match of the day. After this break, we will be back for our second match. As you mentioned, it'll be Evil Geniuses taking on Optic. We'll see you then.